Hey, Sunday morning drive with the Big Kahuna. Uh, on my way to church. On my way to Conway. I'm gonna come up with lyrics for that. There's that song "On the Way to Cape May" from Bobby Rydell, and that has a special place in my heart because of going to the Jersey Shore. You got Wildwood Days and On the Way to Cape May, and I'm definitely gonna come up with a way for something for On the Way to Conway. But yeah, beautiful morning. I mean, oh God, that sky is so blue. I mean, there's a few clouds, but it's just so beautiful. I'm gonna get to church and I'm gonna get to the pool. I haven't been putting in enough pool time, and the days are, been to the beach a lot over the last couple weeks. I've been to the beach more the last couple weeks than I have the last couple months, and I'm going to the pool today. I just decided that. Oh. It's rough getting up every morning. It seems like the older you get, but I feel pretty good this morning. I mean, I woke up real good. I think it's because I had such a nice evening last night with all my friends at the Trump Force 47 party. Absolutely wonderful people. Over 300 people for that party. I thought, my God. And then to find out that we're going to have the party at the end of this, oh, that's going to be so cool. That party is just that's going to be absolutely great. Oh, it's going to be the best. Because Trump's going to be back in. Yeah. I think one of the reasons I feel so good this morning about getting up and getting to church is I'm a strong believer in God putting people in your path for a reason. He puts them there, and he lets life see what he's put there for you, and I probably talked about this a long time before. I have a picture on my phone of these doors that one time they were tearing down the mall, the Fairgrounds Mall, and I had to get out and take a picture of these two doors before they tore down that section of the mall. And the reason I keep this picture of these two doors on my camera is, and I want to print it out too, is because that was the day I really saw it, that God puts people in your path. If you don't look, if you're not open to looking for it and seeing it, you're blind. You got to take those blinders off and see what he's put in your way. It's like that song George Strait sings, I saw God today. And you can see God in so much, and it's just so ironic because the last thing Pastor Greg said off the cuff at the end of his service last week was, like, God puts people in your path for a reason. And oh God, now getting back to that door, that door, I was coming out of that one day, out of the mall, and there was this old lady coming towards me, and I had a lot on my mind. I wasn't thinking. And I just stood there and I held that door, and she was a good distance away, walking with a cane. And I stood there. And then when she got up to me, she goes, "You must have had a really good mother to teach you such manners and such kindness." And I just thought, and she walked in, and I just thought, "Oh my God, you're so right." And I said thank you to her. She's the best. What that woman had no idea knowing was I just left my mother's wake at a restaurant in that mall. And I thought, and I felt so much better for running into this woman. And that's the first time I ever realized and saw it, how God works like that. And I've seen it so many times since then. I mean, it's, you know, and you got to thank him for putting them in your path. I mean, he put Kelly in my path. He put her in my path, and look what I got from that. I mean, just 35 years, and 2 sons and 2 grandsons, and 2 wonderful daughter-in-law. I mean, perfectly suited for both my sons. They're just absolutely wonderful. So, yeah, God puts you. You gotta look for it. You gotta see it, and you can't take it for granted. And the reason I'm talking about that is last week I missed a lot of church because of my aches and pains and Kelly's, you know, taking care of Kelly. But I missed a lot of church because of aches and pains. And because it's rough getting up in the morning, like I said. And I always, when I get up in the morning to go to church, I always feel better by the time I get to Conway. And this drive is a tonic for me too. I just love my Sunday morning drives. Just shooting up 544. But last week, I'm sitting there, and Dave comes in. And Dave walks with a walker. He takes care of his sick wife. He does all that. He's in a lot more pain than I am, and he gets to church. And he gets to church. And what does that say about me when I'm nowhere near in as much pain as that man is? And it speaks to his faith. And I thought, why am I laying in bed with some little bit of aches and pains when I should be getting, and I felt a little ashamed, but I felt a lot inspired. I felt a lot inspired because Dave just, you know, that little voice in you it wasn't just, it was an inspiration, and it was a little bit of shame, and it was a spiritual kick in the butt. You gotta get there. And it's not, when I go here, it's I don't want it to seem like I'm trashing Catholics or anything like that. But when I was Catholic, things, you were made to feel obligated, and they use that word, your obligation. You should not feel obligated. You should feel joy. You should feel, warmth and love, not obligated. obligated. That's compulsory, and there's nothing compulsory about what I'm doing right now. Compulsory, is there takes all the, when you use obligations and compulsory and stuff like that, it takes all the joy out of it, all the, I'm like this, at least, if there's something I know I gotta do, and I gotta do it, I'll do it. But if somebody tells me I gotta do it, I kind of rebel and don't do it. This is something. If you don't get to church, and it's God wants you to be there, but He wants you to be there on your own accord. He wants you to be there. He wants you to be happy to be there. He wants you to be, just. Sometimes it's hard to put the words, and that's me talking. He wants you to be happy when you're with Him. You're with Him all the time, but when it's like when you say 2 or more are gathered in my name, I'm with you. So when you go there, He's with you. You feel it. I hadn't felt it in Catholic Church for years. I was doing it. It was compulsory. It was, obligation. And that's, never feel that coming here. Never feel it. And like I said, I enjoy it. When you got a day like this, absolutely beautiful. I like my drives up the Conway even when the weather is bad. Drove through some ugly rain, but this is my Sunday morning drive. Get to talk to you. Get to like all 2 or 3 of you that are watching. But I can't wait till I can go live again, because I got to load this when I get up there. But it's still nice. Man, you wake up and you just feel this good. It's like, wow. The weather is absolutely perfect. In the 80s, not the 90s today. Yeah, this is definitely an outside day. Maybe I'll do the beach and the pool. Now you're talking. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah, I forget that the name of that guy. The character he plays, because John Lovitz, because it reminds me so much of that fellow that the Republicans threw out of the House, expelled from the House. He's like, yeah, that's the ticket, because that guy lies so much. Yeah. Getting back to last night. Oh, God. Was that a surprise? It's the warm, fun surprise. Seeing Noah there, dressed like Trump, has his hair. I don't know how much product he had in his hair to get it like that, but oh my God. He could have stood in a hurricane and that hair wouldn't move. But Noah's just this great guy. All the Rottermans are great. You can't help but love each and every one of them, and that's because they were brought up right. They all have such a loving heart. The only sister I haven't met is the one that's down in Florida. I hope to meet her someday. You just can't get any better than having friends like the Rottermans. But Noah, he's my buddy. I love that guy. And then he does this Trump impersonation, and you could tell he was having a ball doing it. That's what made it so enjoyable, because you could tell he was having fun. And oh my goodness, my eyes are getting funny because the sun getting in them. He just was having such a good time. Everybody was having such a good time. And happiness is one of the most contagious things if you allow it to be. And it certainly was contagious yesterday. I remember how grumpy I used to be. I used to be the grumpiest. And I still get that way. I got so ugly with Kelly earlier this week, and she gave me the silent treatment for it, and I deserved it. She watches these podcasts. I love and podcasts. I'm a podcast guy, but this one she likes the true crime ones, and I like being a former police officer. I really like them too when they're presented in a manner like you lay the facts out and try to see things a little differently. But there's this one podcast she's on and that she watches, and it's a husband and wife, and the husband just, this guy never put on a badge and gun, went out in the street, never, and he just totally trashes cops. And because they do a lot of open case stuff, the unsolved stuff. And I popped a cork. I really did. About this guy. And I said, I don't know how you could watch him. And I thought, boy, you really stepped in it there, Pat. You really stepped in it. So, but then after that, we had such a good time together. The next day or so, she really did well. Bonding over Transformer movies. The Transformers, they're more than meets the eye. I freaking loved the Transformers when I was a kid. And some of the movies that just got a little, I don't know. But this newest movie, which is kind of like a prequel to all of them, takes place in the 90s. I really enjoyed that one. Those movies are special effects laden movie, but sometimes so much special effects and stuff, the way they shot it, it almost becomes a sensory overload, and I love science fiction. I really enjoy the heck out of the Marvel movies, because I was a comic book kid. G.I. Joes, G.I. Joe with lifelike hair and kung fu grip. You know, I was into all that stuff. Almost said it. But I used up all that word yesterday on my poop cast. But oh man. Yeah, it just was. Yeah, I really do like the stuff like that. But like I said, sensory overload. That it's like, what did I just see? I can't even make out. Sometimes you have to rewind it and watch it like several times, and you still can't, because there's so much, like I said, sensory overload with some of the special effects. And this one that Kelly and I watched the other day, most recent one, it was actually really good. I like sitting and watching movies with Kelly. Most of them have Russell Crowe in them. She likes her Russell Crowe. She likes her Jason Momoa. I call him Mimosas, Momoa. But I like to pick on her with stuff like that. If you can't pick on your wife and your wife pick on you in good-natured ribbing and in a loving way, I feel bad for you, because your spouse is nothing more before than your best friend you'll ever have in your life. And you can't, if you're not able to joke around, if you gotta walk around with a stick up your hoo-ha, your dupa. Hoo-ha, something else. What am I saying? I don't have a hoo-ha. Got a little transgender stuff going on there. Hoo-ha. Your dupa. Dupa, that's Polish for your back door. Coming up on the trestle. My favorite bridge. This is definitely the South Carolina version of the Lindbergh Viaduct. See, at home we have a bridge that goes from like the base of one hill to another, goes across this little valley, and it's called the Viaduct, the Lindbergh Viaduct, and it's not straight, it's curved. And my father would always make jokes about that. They curved the bridge because of the real estate values that whoever owned the land there, they wanted to be able to sell it sell the land, so they curved the bridge. And I don't know where my dad got some of his stuff. It took me a long time to realize that Dad was full of it. You know, some of the tall tales and stuff like that he would tell. But, you know, he's Irish. I'm Irish. And I don't embellish like Dad did when I tell people, but I don't. Yeah. Dad had a way of embellishing. Brought home this mug from one of his Florida trips when he was doing work for NASA down in Florida, and this was in the 70s when they were gearing up for the shuttle program, and he was doing work on vehicle assembly building, and brought this mug back, and to this day this mug means so much to me. He gave it to me for Christmas, and he had this whole story going with it, that he got that mug from Don Shula, And that's just, and today, to this day, it's so funny because I got that he had me going for years on that one, and it just it cracked me up because years later I got an autographed picture from Don Shula because eating a 48-ounce porterhouse. And, oh man, I mean, it was a competition, not a competition. It's a challenge. If you could eat, that's a 3-pound. That's a lot of beef. But what made it easy was how it was prepared. It was perfectly cooked. It was one of the best steaks I've ever eaten in my life. All 3 pounds of it. It was delicious. And it was, like I said, it was perfectly cooked. The Shula's Steakhouse, some of the best steaks I ever had from Shula's. But I've had some really good steaks right out of Kelly's Cast Iron too. I mean, I was so hungry for steak, and we decided we were going to watch the new Twister movie, but we were going to watch the old original one first. And if you ever watch the Twister movies, you know you got to eat steak and eggs when you're watching that movie. Otherwise, you're going to want to eat steak and eggs for a week. You know, you gotta have your steak and eggs because that one scene in the movie, and so we had steak and eggs. Oh man, that's just one of the best meals. And it's one of the things I can have because of my diabetes. I can, so much stuff I can't have, but I can have my steak and eggs. Friday, what we do is once every 2 weeks we have a cheat day, and Friday was our cheat day, and we got pizza from Tofino's. But I said to her, we really got to think our cheat days on the diet through, so that we can optimize them, and like Optimus Prime, optimize it. I got Transformers on the brain today. But they, we got to figure out so that we can go out and do something on cheat days, because that'll get her off her dupa and out and about. She's not out and about enough as far as I'm concerned. There's plenty of nice restaurants down here to go to. Ones on the beach are nice. There's this one joint near Spring Maid that everybody raves over, and I'm right on the beach, and I just think it's kind of overrated. And we used to go to Banditos, and Banditos was good Mexican food, and it was right on the beach. And Kelly likes Sugar Skulls, and that's a Sugar Skull logo. But here, this best Mexican food in the whole of Horry County is nowhere near the beach. Soya Luna, and it's in Carolina Forest. So just because something's on the beach doesn't mean it's the best. Although I really love River City's burgers, and it's right on the beach, right there in Surfside. I think everything started pulling up. If I ever win the lottery, I am paving this lot. you always thought, what are you gonna do if you win the lottery? I mean, I wanna do a lot of good if I were to win the lottery. The first thing I would do is pave this lot. And yeah, I would do a lot for this church. I'd even do stuff for St. Joe's because of my mom. My mom would really be happy about that. So, here I am, 30 minutes. Stay safe. God bless.